Hey, and welcome to this issue of Warhammer Imperium magazine, which is number 14. And in this issue, we get, according to them, 8 miniatures. Just a bit of a cheek, really. But let's open her up and we'll have a look. This is our biggest set of plastic, I think, to date. The armoured containers, we'll look at that in a mo. Let's look through the magazine. So straight away, armoured containers, information about. So standard template construct, STC, which if you know your lore, standard template construct is the way that they get round so many vehicles being similar, etc. with regards to the Imperium's manufacture of them. The containers do have storm bolters on them, so they've got a little box here for storm bolter kills. We then got some information on factions, and this time it's the Eldari or Eldar. It would be nice to see a range refresh at some stage for the Eldari, but we'll have to wait and see. We then go into how to build. It says that the four sides of the container need to be held together with glue, while the glue dries. And it's giving you a suggestion of elastic bands. Now these are items that need to be glued, they're not push to fit. And then we have the basics of their assembly here. And then painting. So you'll be using your large dry brush to paint this very large surface on the containers. And then you'll be using Abaddon Black base paint, the container, Mechanica Standard Grey for the ammo type boxes, and then Macragge Blue for the liquid drums, fuel drums. Once you've painted your container black, they're offering up a dry brush on the container of Mechanica Standard Grey, and then your lead belcher and gold details on the various bits of terrain. Finally, looking like that. We then have terrain rules playthrough. Okay, so it will give you how you move, so including the distance along and up and across, to including in your gameplay. And then you have a playthrough, which is the scenario for this is secure the supply drop. Necrons, capture the container. The Necron Royal Warden has dispatched 2 units of Necron warriors to seize and destroy an Ultramarine supply drop. They must reach the top of the container and prevent the Ultramarines from activating its magnetic docking clamp. Rearm and resupply. An Imperial cargo lifter is inbound to recover the stray supplies. The assault intercessors must drive back the Necron warriors, reach the top of the Munitorial armor container and activate the docking clamp in order to secure the precious cargo. So we have a datasheet for the Necron warriors. We have a datasheet for the Necron warriors, and they haven't included a data sheet for the assault intercessors in this particular issue. So I'm assuming that you will then, as it says here, use the data sheet for the assault intercessors in playthrough 13. So we have our moves and playthrough turn by turn, etc., etc. And then next issue we have number 15, Flayed Ones, and then the issue after that will be issue 16, more assault intercessors, which, as I said previously, I think that Imperium magazine had a total of 13 assault intercessors which will mean that we'll have completed all of the models for this particular troop's choice. Hey, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at the plastic. Come on then. Come down here. Let's have a look. Right, so it's quite sturdy stuff. A lot of this, I mean, these containers you're not going to need to glue. You just need to clip them off and tidy them up, so that's fine. The barrels look like they're just two halves. Yeah, just two halves. The top of the barrel is included in the sculpt. I know previously in previous incarnations, the terrain set that had barrels, you had the two halves and then you had the top and bottoms of the barrels that you had to glue in. And it looks like there's a top and bottom included on the sculpts. So as you can see, the full bottom or top is moulded into that. Now the armoured containers do have detailing on the inside. So if you can see, you have detailing on the side walls and then detailing tread plates on the bottom, and this is repeated on the top as well. One thing which is a little bit disappointing actually is that the armoured containers can be open or closed. However, they have not given you an option to, which I think is a shame, to hinge these containers so that, excuse me a second, excuse me, they've not hinged these containers in a way that would make that ability useful and open to play, so that you could open and close them as you saw fit, which is a bit of a shame, but there you go. Anyhow, that's the plastic. That's Warhammer issue 14. Right, so armoured containers are up next, and before I get started, I'm actually gonna just throw something out there that I think these containers would make, I'm sure somebody else has seen this, but really good conversion for corridors, etc. The style seems to be done very much in that of corridors and rooms, etc., that were seen in a Forge World narrative booklet called the Imperium Project, Imperial Armour Volume 4. And I just think that if you were able to look at perhaps marrying up the sides of these together like so, you could obviously make corridors that are a couple of inches wide for use in as structures rather than just containers. My own personal feeling would be to perhaps take some moulds, some silicone moulds of these for yourself, and then resin cast. Obviously that may cause issues if you want to use them elsewhere, but that would be my feelings on it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyhow, Munitorial Containers. Right, so fairly straightforward. The top and bottoms of the containers are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter if you use one or the other. And quite simply, the bottom tabs locate into holes in the container, and I'm looking at this and thinking the best way to put these on is going to be put it in, and then if you're using extra thin glue or plastic, well, like I do, just run it along on your first one, And then do exactly the same for your second one. And then
no more games, Tanner. We want to know everything you know now. Why would we help you? Because whatever it is out there just took one of my people.
I'm going to do exactly the same, but coming down the inside,
What is it? A map of the Desert Forest. It was drawn up by
like so.
They reported anomalous activity to President Thomas Jefferson in 1806. Convinced that these woods were a repository for dark magic, President Theodore Roosevelt closed off access to the entire forest.
So that's your basic armoured container shape. Done. So just make sure it's nice and square.
Those maps, they're over 200 years old. It's not a lot of geological time, but the earth does age. Corrections for soil erosion.
Now, next bit is to pop your doors in. Now these can be moulded open or closed, and there's just some little lugs on these where you would then just glue it into position there like that, and that would be the doors on. But I'm not going to do that. This first container I'm building, I'm literally just going to have as closed, just for ease of production and painting. And then just to make sure that you get these the right way up. So obviously this is the bottom, this is the top, so you want your, sorry, I just realised I still had TV going. So you want your container doors this towards these arches pointing towards the top, and make sure you get it the right way around on the opposite side, like this. Okay, so once they're in, you've got these little control pads that go in, and they just slot in sideways. Like so. And it's the same on the opposite side. Like so. So that's your basic boxed container at the moment. You've then got some eagle heads, which are the lifting eyes for these containers, and they go onto the container like so, just there. So these are fairly straightforward. They are keyed so that you can only get them in hopefully the right way round. And there you go. That's your container, and it basically lives like that. Okay. Your next thing is going to be storm bolter, which comes in 3 parts. So you've got centre and 2 halves, and this is literally just going to go together first one half. Then the other half. And that's your Stormbolter built. Just make sure that you level up everything. And that's it. And then this sits in there, and it's sufficient to not need gluing. So you can take these off for storage, but also if you didn't want to use them on the container during scenery, you don't have to put them on, but they can rotate. You could secure it a little bit better with maybe some very small neodymium magnets. It's probably about a 2 or 3 millimeter hole, which you should easily be able to find magnets for that. So there's your container. Now, ammo boxes. Ammo boxes, they don't need gluing, but what I will point out is that on the bottom of these ammo boxes are 4 little feet, and it's the same with these ones, and they're basically designed to sit inside the rim of the ammo box beneath it, so that it's slightly easier for stacking, like so. And the barrels. I'm a little bit unsure about the barrels. I'd prefer them if we had to put the tops and bottoms in ourselves, because then that would allow me to get in and put the glue in on the inside of each of these. But because they are awkward and have included the tops and bottoms, having tried to dry fit it and looking at it for the build, there were some issues. But that's your barrel, and that's it. That's your Munitorial containers and your ammo boxes, etc. done. We are going to get 2 more of these within the magazine, and I believe we will have these complete by issue 22. I can't remember exactly when the 3rd one comes, but it's in between. It'll be in my delivery where I receive issues 18 to 22. My next processing date, according to my Hachette web account, is the 10th of December. So if they do actually process and don't try and postpone it like they did last time, they postponed it last time because they were needing to reprint certain issues. Now, eventually the excuse that they gave was that there had been so many orders they had to reprint some of the magazines in order to catch up with subscriptions, which is why they held off issuing out the on the 12th of December, which is when I was 12th of November, sorry, which was when the last processing date was officially put on my Hachette account. It was postponed and it went out on the, according to them, it was then processed on the 19th, which was when I worked it out for 4 weeks between each processing date. The 19th was the original processing date that I had written down anyway. Same as I consider the original processing date for December to be the 17th of December, not the 10th. But Hachette have put it as being processed on the 10th. So hopefully I will get my next delivery sometime around about the 20th to 22nd, just in time for Christmas, which would be nice. But there you go. Right, join me next time, and I shall see you soon. All right, take care. Bye.